What's up guys, Bert Roy here, and today I'm going to talk about habits. Now if you saw my previous video, I talked about natural weight loss, and I also talked about the self-image. And in order to create lasting change in your life, we must change our self-image. So once we've decided what type of changes we want in our life, then we need to start creating new habits to complement those changes. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 tips to make your life easier when creating new habits. So tip number 1 is take it one step at a time. We want to create one habit at a time. Now if you saw my previous video, I talked about how willpower alone won't create lasting change in our life. And this is because willpower is limited. We only have so much of it. And so it's like a muscle. Once you work it out so much, it fatigues, it gets tired, and you run out of energy. And then the next day, it regenerates, and you have more energy to do it all over again. So what we want to do is use our willpower on one habit at a time. Really focus our energy on the one habit until it becomes habitual, automatic. It goes on autopilot. And then we can go on to the next habit. This makes it a lot easier. So tip number 2, create tiny habits. According to Fogg, a behavior scientist, the trick to creating behavior change in your life forever is by creating tiny habits. And he goes to explain how our motivation levels have to match the level of difficulty of the habit we're trying to introduce. So we have to have the ability to do it, and it has to be easy, especially at the beginning when we're just building up that motivation. So for example, if I asked you to work out for 5 days a week at 2 hours per session and you've never worked out before, you'd probably tell me, hell no, are you crazy? And that would be a valid response. But if I said, okay, start with 2 to 3 days per week at 1 hour per session, then you might rethink that and say, okay, yeah, I can do that. That's not so bad. 3 days a week so that I can improve my health. Yeah. So the idea here is start small and create tiny habits. So tip number 3, create a trigger. So Fogg also talks about creating a trigger. And this is because we need an easy way to remember. So the trick is we want to place it after an existing habit or behavior. So he gives the format. After I, existing behavior or habit, I will, new tiny habit. So for example, after I come home from work and change out of my work clothes, I will meditate for 10 minutes. And what this does is it takes the work out of planning and trying to remember, and it becomes self-organized. So remember to create a trigger for your new tiny habit. So tip number 4, make it 100% commitment. Alright, so try not to miss a day. And if you miss a day, don't miss 2 days. What we want to do is embrace that change. We want to make it permanent and get excited about the new you. Tip number 5, celebrate your accomplishments. Not by going to the bar or making cupcakes or buying a pair of shoes. What I meant was a mini celebration. Like inside, like you could say, I'm awesome, right? Like just give you that pep talk, or hoot a man, oh yeah, or hoot a woman, right? Or you can have a victory dance. So like every time you kind of do something, nobody's watching, just like, oh yeah. And the point is, make it as silly as you want. It doesn't matter, but it's to really just get you that feeling that you did it, okay? So remember to create a victory celebration, either with words or with dancing, and have fun with it. All right, so let's go over the tips really quickly. So tip number 1 is take it one step at a time. So work on one habit at a time because we have a limited amount of willpower, so we want to focus it all on one so that it becomes easier. Now, tip number 2 is create tiny habits because our motivation levels have to match the difficulty level of the habit. So at the beginning, we want to be able to do it and we want it to make it easy. Now, tip number 3, create a trigger. So what we want to do is add this new tiny habit to an existing habit. That way we can easily manage and remember it. Now tip number 4, I'm getting all my fingers all messed up, is have 100% commitment, okay? So try not to miss a day, and if you miss a day, definitely don't miss 2 in a row. And tip number 5 is celebrate your accomplishments, all right? Not by going to the bar or making cupcakes or buying a pair of shoes. What you want to do is give yourself the feeling of victory. You know, call yourself awesome, have a little victory dance, and remind yourself that you're doing a great job. So I hope this helped. If you like this video, share it with your friends, join the channel, you know, click the like button, and more will come in the future. Thank you. See you next time.